Former Fox News anchor Gretchen Carlson is credited with starting a conversation about sexual harassment and paving the way for accusers of Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein to speak out. The former Miss America became the face of workplace harassment last year when she sued Roger Ailes, the founder and chairman of Fox News. Her lawsuit claims that Ailes fired her after she refused his sexual advances. Well, months later, Carlson reached a $20 million settlement with Fox News parent company, 21st Century Fox. The company also issued her a public apology. Now, Ailes denied the claims before his death in May.
Now Carlson is an advocate for workplace equality. She was named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people in the world for 2017. Carlson has a new book called Be Fierce: Stop Harassment and Take Your Power Back. She shares a playbook for women who want to speak out. Gretchen Carlson worked at CBS News from 2000 to 2005, and she joins us now. Good morning. Welcome back.
It's so great to be back, although you're in this bright, new, shiny studio across the street from where I used to be.
Yeah.
Great to see all three of you.
Thank you. Let me ask you, you and I have spoken over the past year. You sued one of the most powerful men in television. What made you come forward?
Well, courage is a building process. It's not a light switch that you just turn on overnight. And I think that's really important, especially with this issue, because women are labeled troublemakers, the B word, and nothing good. They're not believed when they come forward. So it takes immense courage. It's an excruciating choice. But for me, I realized that my career, my American dream of 27 years of hard work, that it was going to come to an end, and it wasn't my choice. And I decided that I had to speak up. If I didn't, who was going to do it? And I didn't want my children to face the same indignities that I had faced.
You also say that many women, any woman who has spoken up, and it's not just TV news, you said it crosses all kinds of businesses where this is an issue. But you point out in your book that any woman who has spoken up is no longer in her chosen career. I thought that was very interesting and surprising to me.
Isn't that shocking and horrifying?
Yes.
It's an equal opportunity epidemic. I started hearing from thousands of women after my story broke, Gayle. And they were waitresses, they were bankers, they were accountants, they were teachers, they were flight attendants, many of whom have thanked me over the last year because they have all faced this pervasive issue. This is a silent epidemic in our country.
But the perpetrator's still in place, though,
They're
Gretchen?
still in place because we have chosen as a culture to silence the victims, either with settlements where you're gagged from ever saying what happened to you, or enforced arbitration, which is a part of employment contracts now. And here's the key, it's secret. So these are the ways in which we've chosen to resolve sexual harassment in our country, and we need to change that.
Explain that for everyone who doesn't know, these arbitration, which all of us sign contracts like that in our profession as well, which means what?
So pervasive in employment contracts now, a clause that means that you're giving up your 7th Amendment right when you sign it to go to an open jury process. Listen, when we start new jobs, none of us expect to get into disputes. I know I didn't.
Right.
But if you do, it's going to be resolved through arbitration. But here's the key, it's secret. You can never tell anyone what you're doing. No one will ever know about it. 20% of the time, only the employee wins that much.
Yeah, you say silence is the most powerful weapon of the harasser.
Because guess what happens then, Gayle? The woman gets fired, she never goes back to her chosen career, and the harasser is left in the workplace to continue harassing.
Which is the case with your settlements?
Well, so the case with my settlement is that I can continue to talk about this issue, which I've been doing so much work on it for 15 months. I just can't tell you the nitty-gritty details, but you can look at it online where my complaint is.
When you spoke out, some of your Fox News colleagues, like Sean Hannity, Brit Hume, Jeanine Pirro, publicly doubted your stories, and they defended Roger Ailes at the time. In an interview, Jeanine Pirro reportedly said of the lawsuit, "This guy is doing 8 million things a day. You really think he's chasing her around?" I know you can't speak about the specifics, but were you prepared from the reaction from even women that you worked with?
Yes.
You were?
You were?
Yes. Because look at how we react when women have the courage to come forward. We need to change this, and we are. Look at what's happening with the Harvey Weinstein story.
You call that a tipping point. You call that a watershed moment. Why?
Because women are putting their names and their faces to this issue. It's not just anonymity anymore. I really believe, as horrifying as those revelations were, that I'm optimistic that the hard work I've been doing for the last 15 months is paying off. And the gift of courage is contagious.
Yes.
It passes along one woman at a time. And look where we are. The hashtag #MeToo trending for the last 2 days. And now men are putting out their own hashtags to say, Jeff, they want to be on board.
Yeah.
And we need men to help us.
Yeah, that is very important that they're part of this conversation. There's a great article in the Hollywood Reporter by Krista Vernoff, who's a showrunner for Shonda Rhimes on ABC. She said, this entire culture is complicit. If we make this all about Harvey, we've already lost. And I've heard many people say, we're focusing on that, but please look at the bigger picture of what is happening in all industries. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that because the thousands of women who reached out to me, their stories were never told. And I became a voice for them in being able to publicly tell my story. I hope that all of those women will find the courage and the bravery now to also tell their stories, and that we will tell them for them to eradicate this problem.
Well, one of the places in the workplace where they say to tell your story is human resources. But in the book you say human resources is sometimes not your friend. You say they're like the KGB.
My lawyer actually called them that. And I want to reach out to all the human resource people who are doing a good job and who do want to help.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
But I advocate in the book that there are maybe better ways to solve this issue. Hire an ombudsman to come in, an independent person who's not getting their paycheck from possibly the harasser. And also, we need to encourage more bystander training.
More what?
Bystander training.
What is that?
People witness it. Do you think for the 30 years of what was going on with the allegations of Harvey Weinstein and other stories, people knew about it? There were enablers and the company covered it up. So we need to encourage bystanders to also come forward.
But Gretchen, I've heard people say, well, we knew he might have been a brute or a bully when it came about his movies. We might have known that maybe he was a philanderer, but we didn't know that. I've heard many people say, we didn't know it was that extreme. And to that you say?
I say that I'm sure that other people knew that. I'm sure that they did, because this is the way in which it works, and this is how we continue to cover it up.
You watched when the Billy Bush tape came out during the campaign. You watched this with your kids. Why did you do that?
Well, the first time I didn't watch it with my kids. I wanted to see what it was for myself. But I felt that it was imperative that I showed my 12 and 14-year-old kids that this is not how you treat human beings. And I think it was a teaching moment for millions of parents across America, at least I hope it was, that they could show their children that this is not how you respect women. Because look, it starts with our kids young. This is why I have an entire chapter on how I believe we should parent our kids in an equal fashion, because it's really more about our sons. How are we raising them to respect women when they eventually get into the workplace? And that videotape, I don't care what your politics are, sexual harassment is apolitical, and this is why everyone should care about it. When somebody harasses you, they don't say, are you a Republican or a Democrat? They just do it. And this is why we should all care about it, and human decency supersedes any political policy in my mind.
Yes, you went through a very rough time, Gretchen. Was it all worth it when you look back at it? You write in the book how lonely it was sometimes. You didn't hear from people you expected to hear from. You felt alone many times. As you sit here today, was it all worth it for you to go through this?
It was, Gayle, because if there's one constant thing about me, I always take on a challenge head on and I never give up. And I know that I have been a voice for so many women who never had one. And now I'm seeing that something good is coming of this. And I really hope that I can change laws on Capitol Hill as well and get rid of the secrecy so that we take this issue out of the shadows and help so many others.
Gretchen Carlson, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
As Norah said, really good to see you at the table.
Great to
Thank
see
you.
Thank you.
Proceeds from Be Fierce will go to Gretchen's Gift of Courage Fund. The book is on sale today, wherever you like to buy your books.